All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Fork Over the Ring, where we all know the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. And today, boo boo, I'm going to teach you how to make some Southern style collard greens that you cannot mess up. If you do mess up, you ain't get it from me because you wasn't paying attention. So you're going to start off in your pot by adding olive oil, just enough at the bottom to coat it. And you're going to heat it up and start adding in one large white onion or yellow onion, whichever one you want. The good thing about this recipe is that it's really customizable to what you need in your life. Just follow the instructions. Then I go ahead and I add 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. Um, you cannot taste all the garlic throughout the greens. It's not like Diddy all up in the videos dancing in the background. It's really just enough to give you the little kick and balance that you need. You are going to saute these on medium high heat for about 4 minutes, just until it's real nice and translucent. Your house gonna smell all lovely like Thanksgiving, cause you know these greens gonna be better than your grandmama's, cause some of your grandmas can't cook. Then you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna add 2 containers of chicken broth. You can use homemade chicken broth. When I was actually getting ready to make this, I realized that I ain't had my chicken broth, so I had to go buy some real quick. So go ahead and use 2 containers of chicken broth. Then after that, you are going to prepare to add your meat. Now, I am using one large smoked, keyword, smoked turkey leg. You can use ham hock. You can use whatever you want. I prefer whatever is cheapest at the moment. So this turkey leg was $4, so that's what I got. Then I start adding my seasonings. So to my seasonings, I add white pepper, black pepper, some adobo, a little bit of salt. I do add more water so it covers up the top of it. And that's really it. Like, you don't need a whole bunch of seasonings for this because your seasoning and your flavoring is coming from that broth, the veggies, and then the turkey leg. So I cooked the turkey leg for about an hour on medium heat, just medium. Then you pull it out so it can cool off and you can break it apart. And then you go through and you're going to add your greens. Now, I'm lazy. So I used 2 bags of pre-washed, pre-chopped up greens, and I just washed them 2 more times just to make sure, because, greens are one of them things. You can't get nobody no nasty grain of greens because they're going to talk about you. And that ain't cute, sis. So I go ahead and I add that all up in there. And greens will cook down so you don't have to smush it. And then I add about maybe a tablespoon of white vinegar. You can't taste it. It's just to cut some of that salt and that other flavor. Now, for the meat, you don't have to cut it down and break it down like I am. I'm doing it so that whenever you pull out even just a little forkful, you will always have meat on your fork. But like when I make it for my immediate family, I literally just put a piece of meat in the pot for everyone so that when everyone gets their food, they just simply get a piece of meat that they pull out. But when you're making it for a lot of people, then you go ahead and you'll just chop it up. So that way when people get their food and they take a bite of it, they always have a piece of meat. And you're going to go ahead and you are going to add this back into the pot. Now, I cook the greens. Follow instructions, y'all. You're going to cook the greens for about an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, on medium low heat. Like, you want it to almost simmer. Like, you want to touch the pot and be like, damn, is this thing even hot for real? Because it's going to cook low and slow and so good. And then I add that bone right back to the pot while it's cooking because that's where all the flavor is. And then you go ahead and you're going to taste the broth or whatever and see if it's good. If it's not, go ahead and add a little more salt to it. Don't add too much though because you don't want no hypertension greens. That ain't it, sis. No hypertension greens. So you see I added some more. I added a little more salt and a little more adobo. That's it. Don't do too much. Don't do too much. Then what you'll see is this is about 45 minutes in. This is the halfway mark. You can see that green, but they don't like they've been through the struggle yet. Like, you want your greens to look like they fought a good fight. You want, like, they still look a little stiff. Like, they still got some life to them. You want your greens not to have no stiffness to them. Like, those greens right there, they can still bounce back. I don't want my greens to bounce back and bite back, okay? So you're going to keep cooking them. Keep mixing them. Let that sit some more, sis. Let it sit. Watch. Now, there we go. You see that right there? Those greens have fought the good fight. They ready. You take that bone out. You plate that on up with some cornbread, okay? And you add a little hot sauce. And you're done. Your greens are good. You're welcome. When you get the ring, I want to be invited to the wedding, sis. Okay? Now, this take about 2 hours of your life, or really 3 hours of your life, but it's okay because they good. Now, for this, y'all welcome. Go ahead and follow me on social media. Like this page, comment, subscribe. If you don't, I'm going to judge you. And remember, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Boo-boo.